Wipe the field! World Championship Qualifier with Fiendsmith control. Why is this deck so good? Well, look at all the hand traps we have in this deck. We have triple Imperm, double Nibiru, 3 Bestial, 3 Fualos, 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Droll, 2 Maxi, and triple Veiler. Are you ready? Let's do it. Now, the best way to use a card like Fualos from Maxi is when you don't have an active play in your hand, you wait until they're committing to a special summon. Now, this is a summon from the hand, so the Fualos would not be resulting in a draw. Thus, we do not activate Fualos yet. Set pass. Oh boy. So what happens when they make no play whatsoever to use your hand traps on, and we also don't have a play? Well, we do have a lot of one-card combos in this deck, and hopefully we draw into one of them. Let's see. The Kieran will trigger when destroyed. There you go. One-card combo, just like that. You may have the Fire King card in the back row to pop a card in the field. That will be something that we will deal with as soon as he does it. Destroying the Kieran early. Sure. Okay, so he likely does not have that quick play spell. That is fine. Let's whip out the Dippity. Maxi. So we have two options here. Because I have double Ash, I'm thinking about just using Ash. Otherwise, if I didn't have a second Ash, I possibly would just draw Lockbird on special summon since we don't plan on adding anyway. Now, they may have a Call by the Grave, which we could use Ash. They finger our Ash. We then draw Lockbird afterward after summoning a Requiem. Then we go from there. So I think that is going to be the play. Let's see what happens. It's also worth considering if we were to make a Requiem, we could pass and then have Fualos be activatable. When we activate the Requiem, jumping off the field, we Fualos chain to the Requiem, and then we would be making plays from there. But we're not going to have to be in that situation. Successfully negate the Maxi. Let's make as much Fiendsmith plays as possible. So what's important to note here is this triggers when destroyed. So what we want to do is not destroy it. We want to send it to the graveyard by card effect. Come forth into our Lacrima. Lacrima, send from the deck. Any negate? No negate, mates. Ooh, we got an Imperm. Now, we already committed to our normal summon, so we can't normal summon the Fualos, unfortunately, to make plays from there. The Fualos is now dead. So what we're going to have to do is we could go into a Princess, which would be the play, because we want to get the Lacrima and Graveyard to reborn the Requiem during their turn, so that we could send from our deck to the graveyard a Fiendsmith in Paradise to send a card they control to the graveyard on special summon. Again, keyword send. So let's Requiem, equip, and also what's good about ending on a Princess, not that it's good at all, but it will trigger if we use any of our hand traps during their turn. If we hand trap during their turn, we get to draw a card for free. We'll set up our Imperm, and we got Disruption. We have Ash, we have Droll, we have Imperm, we could draw off Necroquip, and we also have Lacrima reborn the Requiem into a Fiendsmith in Paradise. Now, the Requiem's only activatable in the main phase, and I'm just gonna wait to see what they have before committing to that play. Fualos on summon. What he could be doing is trying to make a Hida. Hida, steal an Ash Blossom from our graveyard. If I allow him to commit to the Hida, then summon Lacrima afterward, he then summons our Ash. We then trigger the Fiendsmith in Paradise to send the Hida to the graveyard. He then just has an Ash on the field. Otherwise, if I do this early, the downside would be is that he'll probably go to battle phase. He may just pass and swing over the Necroquip Princess instead of committing to the Hida play. And he may actually change his mind and go into a Little Knight play instead. So not wanting him to go into a Little Knight play, and also we can keep our Princess in the field, I'm going to go for the chance that he commits to Hida instead. All right, he's going to battle instead, so this is what we feared that summoning the Lacrima early would have done. That is fine. So he's going to be a bit safer on his play, take out the Necroquip Princess while he can. So we're going to lose out on the draw ability plus a body on the field, where otherwise, if he committed to Hida early, we could have saved our body. 100 attack, 600. We could just block this attack. It's not a fire monster, so we don't have to worry about a Garunix in hand triggering, nothing triggering in graveyard. May as well save that 100 life. And now that I don't really care as much about him committing to a Little Knight play potentially, we will reborn the Requiem. Could also just, ooh, Maxi. Maxi. I do want to Ash that Maxi. We're in a simplified game state. He does not get to draw a card for nothing. We don't want that to happen. Negate the Maxi. Not today. And let's get our Fiendsmith in Paradise in graveyard. He is going to be able to go into a straight up Little Knight. If he goes straight straight up into a Little Knight. Do we even... We don't get to Requiem in response to Little Knight. They'll be able to summon Little Knight. If we Requiem in response, we could summon an Engraver from the deck and just attack over Little Knight. So we're in a pretty good spot here, whether he goes into Hida or not. If he goes into Hida, we activate Requiem, dump the Fiendsmith in Paradise. If he goes into Little Knight, we just go into a... There you go. There's the Hida. Hida is here. Let's send a Fiendsmith in Paradise. So come forth, Lacrima, Paradise. He's going to reborn our Ash. We're going to send the Hida to the graveyard. Then everything will be fine. Then we can normal summon a hand trap alongside the Lacrima. We could then also go into some other plays there. There's the Ash as suspected. Perfectly fine. Trigger the Paradise. We play a second copy of the Requiem, so it's not that important to return it back into the extra deck. Desiree Send. As you can see, this deck is very safe. There are lots of plays. We're going to return the Dippity back in the deck. Dippity Doodah. Send. Do not destroy, as the Hida would trigger when destroyed. I just got an Ash on the field. We can go into a Requiem. He is in big trouble. Typhon. Sure. Do I even bother imperming the Typhon? He just returns Lacrima back to the hand. I could just normal summon it afterward. I don't, just to be absolutely minimal. Didn't even bother activating the effect. So we can turn off its effect of 3,000 attack or higher not being activatable whenever we want. Let's do this. Lacrima into our own Requiem. Requiem, summon for the deck, our Engraver. And the Princess Engraver, so we can't turn the Engraver into a Princess, so then reborn the Engraver. So to get the Engraver engraved, we do need to very simply just go into a sequence. We would equip the Requiem here. We'd send the Typhon into the graveyard. So very well protected. Had our Imperm, our Drone Lockbird. We maintain the follow-up and recursion of Fiendsmith here, giving us a lot of protection. Let's do it. Double Veil. We have a Primite Roar and Barrel play. This can go into full Fiendsmith plus Barrel setting up. All right, so let's see what he has. Ideally, they tried to Full Loss or Max CS early, and then we could chain the Primite Roar. All right, perfect. Let's summon it. Activate Dip. Summon the Dip from the deck. If he chains Full Loss, we then don't even summon the Dippity. It's optional. So this would be great if he wastes a Full Loss. It'd be a straight up -2. We summon Barrel and set up, and then yep, okay. I am not going to summon the Dippity. You're not going to draw a single card here. So Roar, go to Grave, Barrel set up, and unfortunately, we're not going to have the Drill Beam be activatable. Maybe we're going to eat up another hand trap here, though. Barrel set the load. We don't want to use the effective load to summon for the deck. He'll be able to draw 2 cards here. Let's just search for a Drill Beam. Let's see Ashes. No Ash in sight. So the Drill Beam is not going to be so good. Barrel, what we'd want to do is send Barrel to the graveyard to then send the Dippity to the grave so the Barrel could recycle itself during the next turn, or I could just search for another Barrel right now. Because the Drill Beam, it's not really going to be a beneficial bluff where I just set it and it's not even activatable. So I'm just going to set this up for next turn. Minimal plays. We're already happy that they -2. Just be okay with the -2. We feel protected with the Baldrake. If they don't get a Lighter Dark Engrave, we have our own Veiler to summon the Baldrake. So we're doing perfectly fine. We don't have to send Dippity to recycle Barrel since we already have one in hand. We'll just keep the body on the field. Let's focus on surviving after them simply -2. Now, this could be a mirror match if they had no opening play. It is Mermail. Mermail's the way. Sending the Barrier Statue to the graveyard. Oh my. Okay. If he had no play turn 1, he could be depending on this Tias going through. Probably top decked into it, right? The Tias to even summon its discard another water. So I'm thinking he opened up Tias and just drew into a Barrier Statue, right? He would have normal summoned this unless he really wanted the Full Loss to be activatable. Let's see what's good. Baldrake unfortunately does not get its secondary banish since we don't have a Lighter Dark on field to tribute. We have our second Barrel on the next turn, and you got to remember that just having 2 bodies on the field equals a Moon of the Closed Heaven whenever we want. Full Fiendsmith play. End of the turn, ain't no way. So if he were to not Full Loss by Maxi. We could chain the Baldrake to it. We now have Engraver. This is great. Let's try to eat some Ash. Yes, let's see. Engraver. Ash onto the Engraver. Okay, Ash has successfully been eaten. And let's now focus on their field lighting up to see if they have a Max C. Let's see. Summon the barrel. Set into the back road. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just minimal plays. Bait the Max. Bait the Fool Loss. Don't overcommit. Just play it safe. Very nice. Focus on card advantage with Bestial Fiendsmith control. Now, am I happy if they were to just pass their turn with this hand? I would not be happy. I could Lubellion, Bestial Banish Lubellion, normal summon, Ash, and then I would be able to go into full play. But instead, I'm going to wait for a little bit more of a commitment to then activate the Fool Loss. I'm not going to be ashing the Bonfire. Snake Eye Ash. Okay, we're going to be imperming that. I'm going to Ash the Tract, and then imperm the Snake Eye Ash. We're not going to Fool Loss here. I don't want him to get into the cycle of having his Fiendsmith plays. Engraver, sure. So think about this. If he were to have Requiemed, he would then be able to use the Engraver, return the Requiem or the Lurie back in the deck, then have an Engraver on the field, and then alongside his normal summon, he could potentially make some plays. Sure. Just reducing the resources. I'm focusing on the pluses. Searching for a Fiendsmith in Paradise. That is not good. Ooh, okay. Golem. Now, unfortunately for us, the Golem summoning from the back row does not give us a draw for Fool Loss. So we are chilling. Straight chilling. I have to think if I want to drop the Fool Loss before he summons a Doom Dragon. As soon as he gets 2 cards into the back row, we potentially Doom Dragon, stop it with summoning the Fool Loss. And then he'll potentially just end his turn. Ash, ooh, Lacrima into the back row from the hand. Okay, so he has Ash Blossom. I should say he has Ash, not Ash Blossom. Snake Eye Ash plus the Fiendsmith in Paradise. So we know the full information. We have full info. Tract is not activatable. He is going to summon. If he is going to summon the Doom Dragon by sending Lacrima, he could reborn the Engraver here. Otherwise, he's not going to be ending on any form of disruption. Let's put it into the back row. Then I may drop the Fool Loss to just end his turn. And then he should have no disruption. Ooh, okay. He's going to link off first into Moon of the Closed Heaven. Do we want to hit him right now with the Fool Loss before he summons the Requiem? And I'll be fine with that. Perfectly fine. So either before the Doom Dragon or the Requiem, and he got rid of 2 big bodies in the field, so that's good for us. No big meats. Snake Eye Ash, Poplar summon onto the field, and if he wants to summon for the deck, I think I'd be okay with that. I get to draw a card. As long as he is not setting up a form of disruption for free, which he is not. Now, Poplar could be adding the Snake Eye Chase, which I think we possibly have to negate. This is negating a follow-up or a potential disruption. So how it could be a disruption is with the Snake Eye Chase, you put a Diablo Star into the back row, then you summon Diablo Star from the back row in the end phase, you set up a Silvera, and then the Silvera will be able to negate a card we control, stopping our next play. So for the potential of that happening, I am going to imperm, negate. Now, the likeliness of him playing it is probably not that likely, but I already have a plan for the next turn. We want our plan to go through and be good. He's got a monster I could banish for my Bestial, which is great, so I don't have to banish my own Lubellion. And then we normal summon Ash, we summon Lubellion, we set up the Brand of Regain. Do we go into our full Fiendsmith play? We're going to draw a card now off of the Snake Eye Ash, send a field spell, sure. And we get to draw 2 in total if he wants to touch his extra deck. So I'm perfectly fine with this. Oak, Reborn from Engrave. We now have normal summon Lacrima, full Fiendsmith play, sure. Reborn Ash, we don't draw for this. If he wants to set up with a Masquerena, we get our other draw. Ooh, he is summoning again from the deck. This is quite wild. Be my guest. All right, Flameburge. Again, no disruption on the field yet. You have another Fool Loss, which he has to, he probably has overcommitted to the point where he's already planning on summoning from the extra deck, and and I may as well just Full Loss right now. Otherwise, if he goes into a Masquerena, I could Full Loss in our turn. We draw off of the Masquerena going into an extra deck monster during our turn. I am just going to drop the Fua. He's on a mission to set up a form of disruption, which he's got none so far. So if you would like for me to now be drawing 2 per summon from the deck or extra deck, that'd be great. Go ahead, mate. Now he's second again. Now he's like, yeah, I don't know about that. And if we look at the graveyard, he has only 1 Ooh, we're going into the Apollo USA. 2,400. Get that draw 2. Don't mind if I do. Poplar into the back row. Sure. There's no reason to activate the Max C. We chilling. Now to think about the Apollo is he's going to put a card in our back row, which would stop our Imperm potentially, or he's putting into his own back row. Sure. To think about Bystials versus Apollo is you want to chain the Bystial to the Apollo negating something else. So right away, we're going to want to shotgun the Lubellion. And then if Apollo negates, we're going to have to try to ideally deal with the Apollo before it negates too much. Back row set. So I got to think that's an Imperm. He's got Imperm plus triple monster negates. We have Lurie. Okay. If the Lubellion is used, he negates. He then Apollos. We then get to draw, or I should say we Engraver. He then goes to 1,600, then 800 as the Lacrima will be able to take it out. So let's first activate the Bystial. Bystial the Bell. Can Maxi in response to the Flame Burst summoning from the back row. Are we good? We want the Lacrima to be dealing with the Apollo. 1,200. So it has to negate twice. But we're putting her in a position where she has to perform those 2 negates. We chain Max C. He can't negate it, but then he could chain special summon for the back row with the Flame Burst. Sure. Belly negated. Let's now Engraver. If he doesn't negate, then that is fine. Okay. Lacrima is now going to be big enough to take out the Apollo. He has no Link Karibo shenanigans in the graveyard to block the attack. He may just negate the Lacrima on summon effect. I'm just simply sending from the deck. And if he does, all right, that now we don't have to lose our battle phase to take out the Apollo. Good chill. We have Engraver, Rebornable. Now there's a trick we could do with Max C, and that is with a Princess. We could draw a card by just activating Max C. If we can get Princess onto the field first. So let's see. Requiem, are you good? The Flame Burge is now going to be summoning from the back row. We're going to chain Max C in response. I mean, we already said we knew what the back row was. So it is the Fiendsmith in Paradise, right? He searched it literally and then said it. So that's no good. We're good. The Flame Burge, but it's just good in general to be thinking if they have an Imperm, obviously not to play around if we know it's not an Imperm, but the thought of it being an Imperm when they have a back row set. Ash sent from the deck. He already has Paradise in the back row, so this is fine. Engraver, he's setting for the follow-up. If we get rid of the Flame Burge, what's going to happen is it will be reborning the Ash and Poplar, giving him big follow-up plays. So what is going to be our way? Let's summon from the deck our Engraver. Engrave. How much damage can we deal over the Apollo? We could get, we have lethal damage with the Ignumde, right? Ignumde over Apollo is game. So we simply just win it. Let's Engraver, return back the Lacrima, up forth, Ignumde, Baboosted up monster. Super Baboost. Yeah, that's going to be the play. 100%. Let's do it. Let's sequence. 46 for game. Easy peasy. This is what happens when you play Millennium. Millennium is very good. You should be playing Millennium, but it's going to get you more easily lethal damaged. So we have the Desiree, which we could boost. Let's return these 3, and then we Ignumde for game. And it's going to be super boosted. How boosted will it be exactly? It's going to be like 7,000 attack? No, not 7,000. We could Desiree send the back or the graveyard, but we know that it's a Fiendsmith in Paradise, so that's a really bad idea. Let's not throw the game. It's gonna be over 5,000. We get boosted here, and then we boost with the sequence onto the Desiree. Desiree's now untargetable. 5,800 mate. Ain't no way. Let's go. Easy lethal damage. That's what's crazy about this control deck is very easily we could put out a ton of damage. I know it's a forgotten resource of Yu-Gi-Oh! The life points, but you really got to be paying attention to them, especially if they're playing Millennium. You now got to think, how can we just win this turn? Finally going first. Okay, we have Lubellion, we have Full Last Pass. Let's try to feel them out. We want to watch for their field lighting up to see what potential hand traps they have. Maybe they ash this, maybe they don't. Maybe we go, so their field did not light up whatsoever. So we're going to normal summon the Full Loss for our play. Let's Magna Hut, banish the Lubellion, and then we have full Fiendsmith play. That is the way. I would love for the Magna Hut to be searching for an end phase barrel, but it's safer if we search for another Bestial. And now let's pop off from here. Moon of the Closed Heaven. I feel safe. His field has not been lighting up whatsoever. Not even on the Lubellion activation, telling me he likely does not have an Ash Blossom, unless he's very smart with toggling off. And if he were to Ash the Requiem here, we'll have double Bestial, Ash, and a Drone Lockbird, so it's really not that big of a deal. Let's summon from the deck. No Ash, nothing, mates. And there has been a lot of Tempai players on the ladder with just a bunch of board breakers, so I'm always suspicious if they have no hand traps to now be thinking that they're possibly on Tempai. Meaning, I am going to be summoning my monster into defense. The Caesar, that is. We're going to have Recursion, Disruption in Grave, Disruption in Hand, Disruption in the field, and that is going to be through the Wave King Caesar way. Let's set this up. Let's not return our resources back with the sequence, and let's now make our Caesar in D. It's at 1800 defense, so for a regular normal summon to even take this out, it's not really going to happen. It's pretty safe in defense, I'd say. It's not like if a normal summon barrel could take out the Wave King Caesar, that would be a problem. Let's now add from our deck a Druid Swarm. We have follow-up Fiendsmith plays with the Engraver attached to the Wave King Caesar, double special summon negate, Ash, Droll, Ball Drake, Druid Swarm, triggered off the Druid Swarm to banish monster from the extra deck, send a monster from the field to the Graver that's special summoned. We have the Lacrima summon Requiem, send from the deck of Fiendsmith in Paradise, which will then send a card on the field to the grave on a special summon. We are well-rounded. Field, hand, grave, and follow-up plays. What more could you ask for? Unicorn. So this is where the Caesar in attack position would have been a lot better. So that is just the unfortunate scenario of choosing to put Caesar in defense player on a Lightning Storm, or you then get unicorned. We obviously do not ash this, and by obvious is you don't know if it's a cash tier deck, regular deck. If it is an actual cash tier deck, you'd want to be ashing the Theosis anyway. I think it's a good time to hit him with the Droll. He looks at our extra deck. That is fine, not a big deal. We have a versatile extra deck. Unicorn, sure. So at minimum, the Caesar eats up the battle phase. So we're guaranteed to survive another turn. We then have follow-up with the Engraver. This is fine. We now are in triple tactics talent territory, which you want to be thinking about when using your Lacrima and Requiem, as the Droll has turned it on. So if he wants to look at our hand, then we may afterward want to be committing. Gets rid of our Little Knight, sure. Does he want to eat up the battle phase? Eat it up, eat it, Mon Duelist. Show me the way. Dimensional Fissure. Ain't no freaking way. It is actually a stun deck. We're about to get stunned. That is annoying. How do we deal with the stun deck? The Fissure is only monsters are banished, but the Engraver is going to be sent to the grave still. Engraver to the grave. We could at least reborn it, equip Requiem, send Unicorn to the graveyard, which then gets it banished. He will be able to trigger the Unicorn unless we Bestial right now while it's on a hard once per turn activation to then battle phase swing our Bestial. We would then lose our battle phase over it when we potentially may... Ooh, there's the Theosis. So holding on to that Ash for the Theosis. Perfect. Got him. Much better use of the Ash. And you can't finger my Ash because it's now getting banished. Very nice. He does have finger. Using finger onto our Engraver is going to be a bit nasty. I will not be liking that. Stop the Theosis. A wonderful disruption. Generally, any effect that's pulling summoning from the deck is going to be a good disruption. All right, so we now want to be getting ready to send their monster to the graveyard, which will be what we're going to do right now. We don't want him to randomly banish the Fiendsmith in Paradise. So we're going to return Lacrima, summon the Requiem, and set up the Fiendsmith in Paradise. The issue with that is it actually does not work because of the Dimensional Fissure. So I'm actually going to be setting up our Bestials. So by activating this, we can at least feel them out a little bit. We want to check our Light and Darks. Sure, Light and Dark seems to be good. You know, what could be good and okay about this is that we are not going to be tributing off our Druid Swarm, I guess, maybe. We can let's see. He's going to activate the Rise Hearts, and the Rise Hearts will be banishing cards off the top of our deck. Let's see what he banishes from his deck first, and then we're going to respond from there. This is really tricky. Not being able to send the Desiree, it's going to get banished thanks to the D freaking Fissure Mate. Fenrir. Birth is going to reborn the Fenrir. That is annoying. Not cool. So if we don't want our Lacrima to get banished, we could summon the Lacrima now. The Requiem gets banished. Oh boy, this is becoming a mess. I think I'm just going to allow it. What did we lose? Okay, it's now level 7. We now want the Baldrake to be ready to banish the Shangri. Let's get rid of our Necrocorp Princess here. Sure. And we tribute off the Requiem. Requiem's gonna get banished. We only have Engraver and Grave. If we want to get a Light Fiend Engrave, we have to Xyz. To Xyz, we would, I guess, Requiem summon Engraver from the deck. That would be the play, and then make an M7 with the Baldrake. So because of that, I do want to get the Druistorm out early. Let's get the Druistorm out early. Get M7. M7 detach Engraver, then reborn the Engraver. All right, so Baldrake tribute off Druistorm. Druistorm will not trigger. He's gonna birth, summon Fenrir. Fenrir's going to search, but whatever he summons from the extra deck, Fenrir will then banish one of our cards. If he targets the Requiem, we jump off, summon an Engraver from the deck. We're in a situation. We're getting stunned. Stun. Ain't no freaking way. Not cool. Let's see. Any monster sent to the grave banished, so that really messed up our play. Now, if we activate a spell, he can banish 3 cards from our grave. Not happy about that. We have to think if we want to use the Requiem early before the Fenrir comes out. I would say no. Because how's that going to benefit us? Getting the early Engraver out? No, because we already plan on using the Baldrake. So he's forced to Fenrir banish the Baldrake. Then before the end of his turn, we're going to have to use the Requiem. We're not in a good spot. Ideally, we could Zeus him. Zeus is going to be the best play. And because of that, I'm thinking I don't even Baldrake banish the Shangri. I think we just chill. Now, if he wants to commit to an Arise Heart, we do have to try to banish it. Arise is a problem. This is not. So if you think about this, we would trigger the Baldrake, we'd banish the Shangri, the Fenrir banishes the Baldrake, we're left with the Requiem. That's not good. Otherwise, we then go into an M7 into swing, Zeus, wipe the whole field, and win the game. I think I want to win the game. We're going for Zeus. Zeus is the play. Do not trigger the Fenrir. No way. And we don't want the Shangri to be triggered because then he could go into an Arise Heart. As long as the Arise Heart does not have 3 materials, though, it's not going to be able to banish a card we control. So we straight up end of the main phase. Wow. So we really do have our play. Nibiru would have been nice after they summoned 5 freaking times. Summon for the deck. That's perfectly fine. We can't M7 add back because of the Fenrir trigger. We're gonna have to just wipe up this field. Let's do it. M7. He's waiting for us to activate something, but we're just not going to activate. No activate. I guess we could take out the Fenrir, then activate M7, then Zeus the field. The Unicorn will trigger, but who cares? Look at a card, the extra deck. The benefit is we get to add Engraver back to the hand. So that's too good to not do. We got to do it. We got to. Well, he's going to banish the Zeus. So shoot, if I played a second freaking Zeus, mate, that would have been great. Now, we can't Veiler because of the Dimensional Fissure. Otherwise, you would not want to main phase your Zeus. Would have been great if I didn't have a Nibiru. I had anything else I could have normal freaking summoned, then made a Moon into the Requiem. Unfortunately, that is not the case here. But we could chain Requiem to the Zeus. And by doing that, it will be... I mean, Requiem gets banished, we summon, it sends the field to the graveyard, then the Engraver reborns. I think that the Requiem instead will be sent to the graveyard, we'll reborn the Engraver, and then we could Zeus and the Engraver. Yeah, I think we're fine. We are perfectly fine. This is great, mate. Let's do it. No response? Wipe the field. Perfect. Whew, that was great. He's got something. He's got something. We have a second Requiem. What do you got? All right, not Maxi. Not Maxi. He's got... What has he got? Veiler? Veiler, if it was Imperm, he would have said it. Okay, let's Requiem, come forth and summon. What you got? Maybe we're about to find out. We are about to find out. Prima, send from the deck here. Send from the D. If we send the Engraver, we could return the Engraver and another body back. The other body could be the Requiem. If I go to Fiendsmith in Paradise instead, I think that's going to be a better form of disruption option if we go into the sequence play. I think this is a good moment to go straight up into our Desiree, actually. By send Engraver, we could then Desiree it up. Yeah, okay, let's go Desiree. Because Desiree is the way. Sequence. Zeus is no longer a form of disruption. If he's got his disrupt for the sequence, then we still have Fiendsmith and Paradise during their turn. If this gets disrupted, perfectly fine. Fine. Negate. We got plays, mate. Imperm. Why did he not set the Imperm? He did not draw. What the heck? He didn't set Imperm with his field, which could have stopped the Zeus. Are you out of your freaking mind? All right, this is fine. We have the effect of the Requiem play, and I don't want to get banished by a Bestial, so I'm going to set this up as soon as I can. Banished by a Kashtira, that is, in response to a monster effect. Now, unfortunately, Requiem is main phase only. All right, so whatever he, we'll let him search on resolution, we'll Requiem, and then we could send his Bestial to the graveyard. We are in a simplified game state to the point where this is okay to do. The Ogre is going to search for a trap that reborns the Fenrir, and I am not okay with that. Not cool. And the Ogre's not going to trigger. Fiendsmith in Paradise is going to send it right away. It's got a mysterious card in the hand, which if the Unicorn is semi-freaking limited, mate. Limited to one Fenrir, semi-limited Unicorn, summon Ogre, send Ogre to the graveyard, then we should win. There we go. Paradise. Paradise and the Desiree. There's no more Dimensional Fissure. This is the play. We're going to be returning the Requiem back into the deck. Be gone. No trap search, no reborn effect of the Fenrir. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. What the? Droll and Lockbird. Let's do it. Oh, Typhon. Typhon. Don't laugh. There's a freaking Typhon here. Okay, that's fine. We have Engraver. Return back Engraver. Summon Engraver with Requiem. Equip the Requiem. Then send the Typhon to the graveyard. Perfectly fine. He wants to spin the sequence and send the Lacrima to the graveyard. What? You're going to return Lacrima back to my hand? What the heck kind of Kashtira player is this? Oops. Huh? You went for damage instead? Are you out of your mind? What are you doing? He's pretty much given up. Yeah. Typical Kashtira player. Just kidding if you're a Kashtira player. We have Tracked, Reborn. We have Infinite Plays. All right, let's go. Let's Tracked, add Lurie, discard, Reborn, and then we're going to be making our Requiem. Lots of bodies on the field. Let's wham bam, thank you ma'am him, and let's lethal damage, yes? Requiem, and we're going to Engraver. Return the sequence back. Sequence is back. Requiem summon from the deck. Equip. What do we have from the deck? Special summon a Fiendsmith from the deck. Do we have the... where? We don't have Princess. Okay, that's fine. We just sequence from here. Get sequencing. And now let's use the Requiem. Equip. Get equipping. Get sending. Be gone. And now let's sequence. Use it up. Lacrima. We'll return back the Desiree. We already activated the Requiem, but let's return back the Lurie. Big damage. How much damage? 5,400 plus Reborn the Engraver. It's more than enough. If not, we could Ignumde attack, then equip. So if you want to see the correct play, this is not BM, right? Because we don't care about Kashtira, right? We cool with that? And let's count up the damage. Let's Lacrima, burn the Fool. Turn you back, burn for 12, and then we got 1,800 damage. Then we have Reborn back. So think about one of the Engravers not attacking, okay? So if we don't attack with one of the Engravers, do we still have lethal damage? Yes, we do. So you see, both of them are attackable, and we got lethal damage. Nice. Zeus it up. All right, let's go again. Roar, Lubellion. We are gonna be playing Max C in response to a special summon, which they have none. Okay, there's a lot of control decks out there to the point where I'm thinking Max C in the standby phase in this current meta is not the way. Now, Primate Roar can only special summon if controlled no monster. So ideally, we wait for them to Max C, Fool us. If not, standby phase passed. We're going to, let's see if we could feel out something with the Lubellion before we Primate Roar. The thing with using Lubellion early is you lose out on being able to trigger the Princess to draw an additional card. So do definitely consider not doing that if you're going to be having some plays where you can at least go into Fiendsmith, which we know we could do. So maybe I'm just going to be doing that more often. But I just love feeling out hand traps. A lot of people have been also ashing my Lubellion. Let's dippity doodah summon itself onto the field, and if they chain, what's great about this card is when they chain a Maxi or Fulos, you just don't special summon. It's optional on the resolution as it checks to see if you have any monster on the field. Sure. Let's just go. Let's not give them any other information about our hand here. Requiem. And when there's back row, I'm thinking about going into a Desiree play with Egnomde. Let's see. Trying to feel him out. Ooh. All right. You've been felt, mate. Got him. Easy peasy. Ooh. What do we have here? Engraver into Tract, activate Tract. He could ash the Tract. By ashing the Tract, we then follow up Lacrima. If I summon Lacrima first, he would probably want to imperm it, and then we follow up with Engraver. So both could check for a play. This is the imperm check. This is the ash check. Let's see if we could eat some ash, yes? Ash on the Requiem could be a bit nasty, so maybe I'd prefer for that to be the play. As if they have a Veiler instead of an Imperm, that is when Caesar is going to be a really good play around the Veiler. Obviously not Imperm, they could just Imperm the Caesar. So let's see what is good here. If I want to set up the Regained early, why would I want to do that? Let's first do the Engraver. There's no chance of the Regained being triggered here. You just checked for Ash. So he absolutely does not have the Ash is what I'm thinking. He may have a Bestial. And if I activate Regained with the Lurie on field, he could chain the Bestial to then banish the Engraver to ensure we don't get a draw. So to ensure we get to draw, which he can't banish the Lurie because we don't have a body on the field, let's set up the Regain first. And now, see how the field is not lit whatsoever. No Fool Loss, no Ash, nothing. So as soon as the Lurie hits the graveyard and hits the field, I should say, we'll check for the field lighting up. So right here, this is not a Bestial check. Once we have a body on the field, this is the check. Field is not lit. What the heck is going on? Well, now we could check for, I guess, Nibiru, yes? Nibiru check. Let's Requiem, summon from the deck. It is worth noting, I gotta get better with, you know, just focusing on triggering the princess because it really is an undervalued extra draw one. I love baiting out hand traps, but, you know, damn, a draw one we just gave up on by not starting off with Lacrima instead. Let's summon our Engraver here, and if he potentially has a hand trap or not, we're going to be using the Engraver to return back the Lurie. I don't want to reveal any extra information here. Let's return the Lurie deck. The fourth, Engraver. This is the fifth summon if we make the Wave King Caesar right here. But if I want to go greedier, what would be the greedier play? We could instead go into the greed. Let's go for the greed. Let's Fiendsmith sequence. I'm getting greedy up in here. Sequence is the way, and he actually does have Nibiru. Interesting. So he's going to Nibiru, then we Lacrima afterward. So that was an interesting check here. Let's return the Engraver and the Requiem back, and then we follow up with the Lacrima Crimson Tear. Reborn here. Now he's going to have to do the Nibiru play, as the sequence was the fifth summon. Nibiru with no other hand traps. He Nibirus, we summon the Lacrima. That is fine. We expected that. Sure. Is it worth it to play into Nibiru when we could have just set up a negate? Let's Lacrima return the sequence back. Lacrima could then send from the deck here. Let's send it, and we could just send a Fiendsmith in Paradise for a form of Disrupt. And if there's no reason to go sequence, so yeah, we got a bit greedy. I would say that was not good. We should have just countered the Nibiru and been happy with that. That's fine. That's fine. But you know, a good showcase of seeing that there was in fact a Nibiru, and even though it's not as popular in Master Duel, it's only 30% used, you would still potentially want to play around it when you can. Even more so if we had additional plays beyond just normal summon of Lacrima. You know, what we would have had actually is just a Caesar on field plus Imperm. The Lacrima, I guess, could just be normal summoned afterward to dump a Paradise. Wedju Temple. Sure. Okay. It's going to get aggressive. You have Imperm, which is no good against the Millenniums. Set up the Golem. Senjin. Search the deck. He's going to have to push the token potentially. If we use the Paradise right now to send, it's no bueno. Gotta wait for a more impactful activation of the Paradise. Sure. Second copy of Wedju. Is this actually a Snake Eye Fiendsmith deck? What the heck? What are you actually playing, mate? Wedju Temple, already activated. More than one copy. What are you playing? Triple Golem, triple Senjin, more than one Wedju Temple? Are you you out of your mind? What kind of deck is this? Ready with the sequence. I should say the impermanence onto a potential sequence. Imperm onto a Snake Eye Ash is really not even that good. Ooh, it is a Crystron deck. That is something. Something. Smiger into Clockwork Knight. We're not going to trigger the Fiendsmith in Paradise. Smiger search the deck. Now, what would we want to use our effect on? On Synchro Summon, add. If destroyed, it wants to be destroyed by the Tristaros. We probably want to send this to the graveyard on its summon. And we do want to imperm the Sulfador. Sulfador would give him access to a Sulfaneer and a Thisfern. He could search his deck, discard. Yeah, okay, he's searching for the Sulfaneer. So he already has access to Sulfaneer. Discard Sulfador. Yep, okay. Sure. This is fine. Okay, summon from the deck. Staros. If we activate something, he will then get Chainin. So we're going to hold on to the Imperm now. Imperm, hold. Hold the Imperm. Baron to floor. Imperm on the Baron to floor is going to be the way. So we'll send the Tristaros to the graveyard. Just going to Imperm it. Sure. And Tristaros to the grave. Yeah. The Synchro, that is. This destroys any Synchro you want. Oh my Jesus. Oh my Jesus. The Dragster can simply negate the Paradise. So Fedor summon. Inclusion, reborn the Tristaros. Go into level 7 Synchro. Okay. 10,000 damage on the field. We still have our Nibiru token in defense. Duelist. Come forth. Got Turtle. Summon from the hand. Thisfern. Search for a monster to summon from the hand. Inclusion into the level 7 Synchro play. Yep. How does he out the Nibiru token though? If he... Maybe we just wait. He cannot go into a Little Knight play. I think Nibiru token is just safe. We don't have to really worry. He is still... Even if we send this to the graveyard, if he gets rid of his own Baron to floor, which still has a negate. So this actually, I think, is a good disruption. He's gonna have to pop the Baron to floor. He pops the Baron to floor, then he does not have the negate, and he's trading Baron to floor for a Cyber Dragon Infinity. Add the Smiger back, that does not matter. Let's Desiree, return back the Lacrima, send you to the graveyard, you do not trigger, no reborn, and then Club of the Grave fingering the Desiree, ain't no way. Sure. Okay. Now, we're going to regain, return back, draw a card at least. Oh boy. We had drawn Lockbird late to the party. He has no out to the Nibiru token anyway. And it's worth noting that if we were to have summoned the Caesar to stop Nibiru, the Millennium Engine completely stops Caesar. Caesar can't stop any of the special summons. And also, Caesar cannot... I mean, he's got too many bodies on the field anyway to even make use out of the Crystron, but it's just a pop to ensure he has Baron floor also. Doom Dragon and the Millenniums cannot be stopped by Caesar, and Doom Dragon will push the Caesar to the back row, then he makes plays. So as much as I want to think that Nibiru screwed us in this duel, it actually did not. The Millennium Engine plus Nibiru was the perfect equation to get us. Caesar stops Nibiru, Millennium stops Caesar, and then he's still got full wombo combo. Okay, go in your Cyber Dragon Infinity. You didn't put the token in attack position. No sucky for you. Cyber Dragon Nova into, of course, the Infinity. Negate anything. Sure. Cyber Infinity. Suck up the Clockwork. Get a small little boost. 2,900. Take out Lacrima. Can't go into a Little Knight with these extra bodies. Sure. He's locked to the machine monsters only. So he has double negates, mates, and the cluster. Target a card, destroy. I guess he could still set the cluster. Cluster, Infinity, and Baron to floor. That would be annoying. If we have one more Light Fiend, we could use the track to fuse. Did not set a cluster. Great. You have Druid Swarm. Druid Swarm can force out a disruption here. Let's see what he has. Do you have a Lighter Dark Engrave? He freaking does not, mate. What the heck? Troll and Lockbird. Little Knight is to affect monsters. You just go to battle with the Nibiru token. Go to battle. We take out the Baron to floor or the Cyber Dragon Infinity. Let's do it. I think this is the way. This is, in fact, the play. If we reborn the Engraver and he negates, we just take out the other mates, and then we go from there. I think this is a good bait. Engraver, return back Lacrima, and then otherwise we banish the Engraver. Ooh, okay. Don't mind if I do. Engraver is here. Now, what do we have in graveyard? We have a track to fuse. So if I want to track fuse, he negates. If I go into Lacrima, he negates. We don't want to go into that. We're going to just fill up the graveyard now. Let's summon for the deck an Engraver, and we're going to equip the Engraver with the Requiem. He does not negate this, then he is in big trouble. There we go. We're fine. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. You have Druid Swarm, draw with the Regained. All right, let's simply go in it to win it. Thank you for the Nibiru token, mate. 2,500 to the chin. Now you have a lighter dark Engrave. Let's Druid Swarm. We could return the Infinity back into the extra deck. It's not a problem. It's not resummonable unless he has Nova back in the extra deck. Let's trigger the Regained, just like that. Return back, draw a card. Let's wipe out the Golem. What? Lethal damage already? What the? I didn't notice his life point being that low. Holy moly. So let's reflect on this duel real quick. I think that playing into Nibiru was a mistake straight up. And the copium to that mistake is that they had Millennium to stop the Caesar anyway, which is true. They could fully stop Caesar by summoning the Golem, summoning the Senjin, and then going to the Doom Dragon, which we can't stop any of it with the Caesar. So, and the Millennium Engine is more popular than Nibiru is what I'm seeing on the ladder here. So you may be thinking, what was our goal if we were to not get Nibiru? Was it worth the risk? So let's assess the risk of why did we choose to get Nibiru when we could have made another play. And to assess that risk, I'm going to show you my deck list and talk to you about what we could have done there. We could have had a beautiful field, an immense field. So easy win there, very nice. And let's talk about this, because I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, you played into a blatant Nibiru. Yeah, okay. And then when you do play around Nibiru, you have weaker fields, and Nibiru is not played as prevalently by that many people. What would happen here is we had double Engraver on the field, and what we could have potentially done instead was possibly set up with a situation where we could Ignumde, and then with the Ignumde, we could turn the Ignumde equipped onto, let's say, a Desiree into a Princess, and then what we could have also done with the Lacrima could have potentially sent a Tract from the deck to the graveyard. We could possibly go into a Lacrima Reborn, into a Wave King Caesar. So we potentially had a situation where we could have had Wave King Caesar and Ignumde in the graveyard rebornable through the effect of the Lacrima Crimson Tear, or we could have had another double form of disruption, whether we had a Fiendsmith and Paradise Engrave plus a Desiree. Now, I was also trying to feel out potential hand traps here if they have anything else. Now, what if they had a Veiler? As going to the High King Caesar not only plays around Nibiru, it also plays around a Veiler. So Veiler punish onto the sequence, even though their field wasn't really lighting up, but you know, it's not a real excuse, as they could potentially play around that, but I would still lean more towards them not having something than them actually having something if their field is not lighting up. So what would happen is we would then be able to follow up, normal summon the Lacrima. We could send from the deck a Paradise, then link off into a Little Knight. So we'd have Little Knight plus Fiendsmith and Paradise. Obviously not as good there, but you know, there were potential plays, but in the end, I think possibly it's best to just go for absolute simplicity and maybe just get the Caesar out early and then play from there. Yes? Let's look at our match history here. Win, 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 win. All right, let's hop in another one. Oh, buddy. We got Lordy Load. Bua freaking lost, mate. Let's load it up. Get loading. And if we grab a barrel, said Drill Beam pass, we special summon from the deck the normal monster. We have Drill Beam. Nice and simple. If I instead Primite Roar, let's roar it up. We go into the full Fiendsmith play for more forms of disruption and, you know, more layered versatility. But the problem is, what if they chain Max Seer Full Loss to the activation of Primite Roar? We would just pass on double Bestial plus Droll, and, you know, that may feel not as good. And if the Primite Dragon gets impermed here, we will at least have the Lacrima with Fiendsmith and Paradise. So we're gonna get spicy. Let's go with the Primite Roar. Let's get roaring. Come to us. Dip, dippity doodah. To the field we go. He's got nothing. All right, let's see. As we summon the Requiem, I want to see if his field lights up. So I'm not gonna activate on its summon right away. There we go. I waited. As we now summon from the deck our Lacrima Crimson Tear on summon number 3. As Lacrima sends from the deck the Engraver here, and then Engraver Reborn. As we return back the Dippity, we don't want to return back Dippity if we had a barrel in graveyard. That is not the case. Up to me. And now we're going to go and play right into a Nibiru as we equip. Let's Requiem, equip onto Lacrima, and this is the 5th summon. Princess. Summon number 5. No Nibiru in sight. So we're going to Wave King King Caesar, sure. And then we have the Fiendsmith in Paradise play. Lordy Load could also summon from the deck a Dippity, giving us an extra body on the field. Why not? Let's get summoning. Normal summon Fualos? I think so. We're gonna go into the sequence, and then from here, we could potentially banish from the graveyard. We get rid of our Dippity, we then lose our normal monster for the game. I don't care about that. So let's get the Dippity out, and we're gonna go into a Little Knight. So Magna Hut cannot activate. Let's go into a Little Knight play. All right, Drew Swarm, Droll, Wave King Caesar, Little Knight. I guess a good thing. We probably should have summoned the Drew Swarm instead because the Lordy Load turned off the Magna Hut. Wow, instant freaking scoop. Holy clappage. Let's keep on going. What are we looking at here? We have Tract, which he may ash, and if he ashes the Tract, what's going to happen is we get to follow up with Lacrima. Let's do it. Tract search. No ash. No nothing. What is going on? All right, let's discard the Lurie. Lurie Reborn. And I'm going to now be setting up the Regained as they could potentially be bistling us off from this point here. Let's Requiem. Send from the deck. All right, Requiem, come forth. What is good? As we are now on summon number 1, 2, 3. Triple summon. Could do summon number 4 with the Princess. Princess, you and you. And then we're gonna go for summon number 5. This is gonna be the Nibiru check. So turn back the Lurie. Come forth. It just like that, we got our Wave King Caesar. Perfect. Now what else do we want to do here? We are not done. Definitely not done. We're going to Lacrima, send from the deck. We can send an Engraver here. We can then, what we could do is if we banish the Requiem, return it back with Regained, that could then draw a card here. We definitely want to Magna Hut. If I banish the Engraver instead, return it back with Regained, that is a play, unless I want to go into Lacrima, which means we would keep the Engraver. So we do activate the Magna Hut, but I want to Chain Link block it with Regain if I activate it. We go into Lacrima as we go into a sequence. We were born, and then we will just have an Apollo plus a Wave King Caesar plus a search. I'm gonna go into a draw instead. Let's return it back, and let's Magna Hut, and let's see what we want to do from here. Return back. Now, if we get the Lacrima and Graveyard, we have the Fiendsmith in Paradise play, backed up by a Little Knight, or we could Chaos Angel, as we'll have the protection unaffected, but you know, it's kind of weak. I'm gonna go for a Little Knight instead. I'm feeling a little bit better with Little Knight. There we go. We have Ash, Max, double special summon, banish a Little Knight, and we have Fiendsmith in Paradise. Looks good to me. And then also a Bestial, of course. I'm gonna grab a Baldrake. I'd love to grab a Barrel. Now, the Regained can reborn the Magna Hut to then search for a Barrel if they summon. So that should be easy. I am fearful for a Triple Tactics talent, and we do have a committed field, so this is a rare instance, I think, in this meta where I'm okay with using the Max C. Sure. All right. Duelist. Ultimate Slay. Ain't no way. All right. It is a Tenpai deck. Draw a card. We do not want to negate that. Obviously, the Guru draw a card. Caesar being a water does not work with the Baldrake. Regain plus Baldrake is going to be a form of disruption. I'm saving Ash for Kaiman. Nothing else. Everything else is noise. It's fake news. They just want you to negate it, and then they're going to hit you with a Kaiman, then win. All bait for the Kaiman, mate. Not going to fall for it. Wave King Caesar also stops the Kaiman. You don't have Lightning Storm for the Wave King Caesar? Heavy freaking Storm. I may be thinking you always want Caesar in defense, but then you get Kashtirud, so it's just really unfortunate on what you're supposed to do. All right, even though he's going to draw and negate the Wave King Caesar, that's fine. I got to hold the Ash. I got to hold it. Hold it. The Widow Anchor will negate the Caesar, so it cannot negate my Lacrima play. Draw your additional card. It's all noise. Not taking the bait, mate. Holy crap. I'm not negating that. And if it's Triple Tactics talent, then, you know, you got me. You ripped my Ash. I got to hope he makes a mistake at this point, because the mistake would be to just negate. Did I even activate monster effects in the main phase? I don't think I did. That's not even activatable. Huh? He's like, hold up. Why my TTT no work? My thrust worked, but TTT broken? What the? Only in the main phase, mate. So we did mention Triple Tactics talent earlier on why we max seed. If I remember correctly, I believe I said that, why we max seed in the standby phase. We have King Caesar negate Triple Tactics talent, mate. I think it's better to hold it. I mean, he's got a negate, obviously. And then it turns on the TTT. We don't want to turn it on. No monster effects for thee. Let's Ash the Kaiman and win. That's it. Not falling for your bait, you fake Sky Striker fool. He's not real. Sure. Oh, my pluses. Holy plus, mate. Sky Striker is nuts. When they draw the nuts, that is. And he drew the nuts. He definitely nutsed. Afterburns plus draw. Take out the Wave King Caesar. Don't care. If you're not setting up lethal, then I don't care. This ain't lethal damage. Okay. Afterburn. Burn me real good. Yep, sure. It's fine. It's got triple tactics talent. Battle phase, negate Kaiman. And there you go. Look at that. Negate Kaiman, and everything is fine. We could Ball Drake, banish, block the attack if we really want to. And at this point, we're no longer worried about triple tactics talent. So we're going to, I mean, he could take control and then swing with both, and that wastes his negate. So I'm actually fine with that. As long as we could stop the Kaiman, we're fine. So if this baits him into taking control for extra damage, then take that bait. All right, baited. 4,700. We're gonna have an easier chance lethaling next turn. Sure, no regrets. An attack position as I did it on purpose. Lacrima can't be summoned for the deck because Requiem can only be activated in the main phase. All right, can you Kaiman now, please? Just do it. How long to just freaking Kaiman? End of the battle. What the? No way. That's crazy. That is actually crazy. Huh. Did not have Kaiman. Well, I mean, Kaiman is limited to one, to be fair, I guess. Didn't get one turn killed. That's beautiful. Wow, you like give me lots of draws, huh? Thank you very much. I don't want triple tactics talent to be activatable. We're gonna Lacrima in the end phase. Set. Triple set. Quadra set. 5 set. Ain't no way, mate. All right, Into the Void discards his whole hand. Of course, that's why he said everything. All right, Requiem's not activatable in the end phase, but it's only special summonable once per turn. So we get it out. That's great, mate. Let's think about potentially Zeusing, yeah? So M7 will give us some value, and if he negates, we swing. He could probably just take control. Let's see what we could do here before committing any other card. Let's make our plays with just this. Let's summon a Lacrima. Send Engraver. Princess already used, unfortunately. I could return her back in the extra, though, with a regained, but I'm thinking about Zeusing the field. So if I'm thinking about Zeusing the field, then probably not good to commit any other card. Let's return the Engraver, equip Requiem, send the Hida to the graveyard. Send it. Send it. Can't turn you into a princess. Okay. Duelist. I know that you are a dirty Tenpai player, even though nothing says Tenpai here. You know it, I know it. You're not an innocent Sky Striker. I know that. Engraver send. And then we M7 add back. What do we want to do? What do we want to add back? Maybe add back the Magna Hut or add back the regained. Add back a monster that is. Damn. Clapping up Tenpai. Holy moly. Wow. That was a super win streak. Oh my Jesus. Let's see how many wins we have here. We're absolutely clapping this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 wins in a row. Woo, let's go. Now, I think this is a good stopping point to showcase how good the deck was. As you can see, very easy to play. And let's talk a little bit about the deck here. Some things I think you should focus on more so than what I've been doing is try to get the draw Princess if you have a Lubellion or an Engraver setup to just get that draw. I'm honestly thinking it's just better than trying to force out or bait some hand traps here. It's like we're hoping for a bad player to just ash Lubellion. This is not the regular ladder. This is the World Championship qualifier. So on average, the player's going to be better. So you should expect better. Thus, just get the draw one because it's going to make a big difference in that matchup. And instead of trying some weird shenanigans as I tried earlier and then get hit by a Nibiru, just go for the very simple Caesar plays, because when you go for simple Caesar, you're not getting caught off guard by a Veiler on sequence. You're not getting caught off guard by a Nibiru, and you get to keep all your resources in the graveyard. You have follow-up with Engraver. You have the Lacrima set up the Fiendsmith in Paradise from the deck, which is also very good. So overall, just going straight into a Caesar has so many immense benefits.